Life is a game and your character determines the outcome. Your character is malleable. That's the first realization that you have to make, that you can change no matter how painful or no matter how much your mind tells you that you can't, no matter how much you want to cling to the current comforts of your life that are causing more destruction than you think. Your character is your concept of self, who you think you are, an amalgamation of ideas, beliefs, experiences, and information you've processed that compose the operating system from which you interact with reality. For most, their character was created for them. Every single person since childhood has been a product of the environment they were in. The fundamental human drive is to learn, and that allows us to soak up any and all information around us that aids in our survival, especially when we know absolutely nothing and we only have the drive to survive. So with this information that we gather as children, we are set on the default trajectory for life, because through evolution, society has developed to the point that it's at. I don't like certain aspects of society, right? Nobody likes every single aspect of society, but who's to say that Mother Nature is wrong for it being what it is today? So it is what it is, and we can work to change that through conscious choices. But we have gotten to this point in society. All of the societal and cultural information that your parents learned, that passed on to their parents, and then they were exposed to new societal information and all of the news and whatever that was circulating within their time, and then passed that down to their children and then to you. And the cycle goes on as to you learning how to operate within the world that you are living in right now. And what blows my mind is that this could be completely different. The point being is that from this default trajectory, we were sent like a train hurling down the tracks, and if we don't learn to conduct our own adventure, then we may be heading towards a dead end. The fate of humanity is not guaranteed. This is the case for every single life form. Every single life form is fighting to survive, right? And we're all in this little competition. Humans may or may not be on top right now. We don't really know. But the thing is that if we do not make intelligent and conscious choices, we may eradicate ourselves from the face of the earth. Of course, that's the worst case scenario, but it is a possibility. Species go extinct all the time because they are not making conscious decisions. They are not deciding their own fate. They are living by instinct. And so humans are different, but a majority of the population are living by instinct. They are living in this narrow-minded mechanical state of stress, robotic, unconscious, mindless, whatever you want to label it, that is the same exact thing as animals, right? So if 95+% of society is just operating robotically, doing what they're told, following the path that was laid out in front of them by society, being a slave to their programming and conditioning like animals are, that 95% is a lot of people, right? That is the majority of people that are the masses that are leading us off of the cliff. And so society, by my standards, is held up by the conscious individuals. It's like they have the fucking world on top of them, carrying it towards something better by building businesses that contribute to humanity, writing, creating, putting shit out there that impacts the lives of others and wakes them up. So the point of this is that your character, the person that is playing the game of life, is either conscious or unconscious. They're either an NPC or they are a main character. That character's actions, which is heavily influenced by their mindless or mindful, unconscious or conscious state of mind, that contributes to society, right? Every single action you take makes some small contribution towards the future, whether personal or collective, or small or large, or whatever you want to say. Every single action has impact. And so that begs the point that the ideas, beliefs, and information that you hold in your mind at any and all times and are aware of or not aware of help contribute to your actions and lead to that better future. And so that was a long-winded intro to say that we're here to talk about the art of self-architecture and how to reinvent yourself. But first, let's talk about the paradox of personal development. So life is a game that houses infinite games. And there are two macro games that are the most fruitful. The first is the external game. The external game is what you choose to do with your life. It is the self-generated goals you pursue that impact humanity. It is your life's work, the thing that you dedicate your time, focus, and money to building as a modality for value creation. And then the second game is the internal game. If your external pursuits are not backed by a philosophical sense of mastery, they will remain superficial and meaningless. For every goal you pursue outward, there is a lesson you must unlock inward. This is the paradox of personal development. The higher you push, or the further you push into the world, the further you have to dig into yourself to get to your core. Because as you develop yourself, right, this pushing outwards while mending or chiseling inwards allows you to increase your level of mind, right? So man, we're moving in all directions here. At each level of the game, as you progress, as you reach a new goal, you have increased your level of mind to solve the problem that was standing in the way of reaching that goal, right? That's how you unlock the lesson that life has to offer you as you're moving forward and exposing yourself to more experiences. And so as you increase your level of mind, you can view the game from the top down and see the structure of the game itself, right? This is why when you're starting out in business, you have no fucking clue what you're doing until you start solving problems, until you have all of the pieces that form the structure of business itself, and then you can navigate your way within that, right? So you give yourself 1 to 2 years to actually accumulate enough experience in business to learn how to run a business and do it well and make enough money, and then it just becomes automatic and seamless. A season of internal struggle is the requirement to reach your next level of mind. When you acquire the skill or knowledge necessary, you reach the next level of mind that solves the problem you were facing. It's like how I failed at 7 different businesses. I tried everything under the sun. I learned everything I could. I tried freelancing, drop shipping, agency work, e-commerce brands, all of that shit with minimal results. And as I like to say, nothing happens, then everything happens. And after all of those failures, after going through the mental turmoil that they brought, after crying on the phone to my dad, asking him not to fucking ruin my life because I borrowed and lost however many $1,000 from him to order product from an e-commerce store, it hit me all at once. I'm like, oh shit, okay, this skill, these all piece together. I can see the structure now. I can see the entire puzzle, the image that the puzzle is forming, and I know how to navigate this new realm. Avalanche, called insight, crashed into my psyche. This isn't like a singular thing, right? This is only to solve the current level that you're at and reach that new level of mind. It's a click, 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 click. As you pursue external goals, you have to go through that inner turmoil. You have to chip away at who you are so that you can see things for what they are. Because, right, that makes sense, because who you are is just a culmination of ideas and beliefs. So you have to shed those beliefs. You don't think of it as this as you are doing it, right? This is more of a heuristic, but you chip away at those things. You chip away at who you are so that you can see reality for what it is and what you are trying to do and accomplish in the world. So the lesson just on the paradox of personal development is that it doesn't come in an instant. You have to fight with reality, and you can't let your expectations make it seem like the pain isn't supposed to be there. Suffering is a very good thing when you perceive it that way. And that's like, side note, that's one thing that I don't like too much about like Buddhist teachings, is that like life is suffering. I know that's one of their teachings, but people misconstrue that all the time. Life is a part of life, right? You aren't really trying to get rid of it. You're trying to flow with it. And that's what some Buddhist teachers are saying, but suffering isn't bad. It's not supposed to be there. The path of the problem solver or value creator is how you escape the world of replaceability. Fall in love with the challenge that problems present, from superficial to metaphysical, and your ideal future will create itself. This is the infinite game. That is a quote from my finally finished book, the manuscript at least, The Art of Focus, which is launching sometime soon. Been talking with publishers, been toying with the idea of self-published. I know what's going to happen, but I can't say it yet because you never know. But once it's solidified, I'm giving updates. Launch date is sooner than I expected. So I'm fucking stoked for that. To change who you are, you must strike a balance between peace and progress. Again, we have the duality here that must collapse into one. We have the duality of progress pushing outward and peace inward, nothingness, doing and being. Because certain goals require a certain character to be able to even know that that is a goal and pursue that goal, right? It's like in a game, you have to be level 50 to go into whatever dungeon or accept whatever quest, right? You have no clue that that goal and that potential for your life even exists, right? This is why I'm so big on just pick something. Just fucking pick something and fucking do it. Stop worrying about all of these little fucking things that can go wrong. They're gonna go wrong. Good, accept it, overcome it. Because it's like, I never thought, I thought I was gonna be doing web design my entire life. But no, since I accomplished that goal, burned through that karma, outward, inward, then I unlocked the next level. I understood, okay, this is what I have to do. And I did that. And that's where people get stuck, right? Because it's like, oh, only focus on one thing or find what you want to do and do it for life. You don't know unless you start doing. And the thing here is that if you're pursuing goals, you can't neglect the inner work that is required to reach the next ones, because then you just end up highly superficial, like a businessman with no health, or a bodybuilder with no philosophy, or a pickup artist with no values. The art of self-architecture demands holistic development. Man cannot remake himself without suffering, for he is both the marble and the sculptor. Think of who you are, your concept of self, as an intellectual structure that you have built yourself into over time, a house, not a home. And when you go to remodel a house, do you go straight for the foundation? No, you don't demolish the entire house at once. And when you start chiseling, when you start making those small changes, when you start chipping away at the wood or the exterior, do you just like rip it off, or do you make small calculated taps so that it's seamless and you're able to piece something back on there perfectly? Most people want to start with the deep spiritual and metaphysical problems that reside in their core. And if you haven't done even the slightest bit of self-help work, like going to the gym or training, fixing your nutrition and habits, acquiring high-value skills and knowledge, then you're in for a bad time. I would argue that people trying to be spiritual without doing the superficial work in order to reach the inner depths of yourself are doing it for superficial reasons. They're doing it so that they can wear it as a status hat. They use spirituality as a nobility card to avoid making any form of contribution to humanity by pursuing goals. When all a person's relevant skills are needed to cope with the challenges of a situation, that person's attention is completely absorbed by the activity. There is no excess psychic energy left over to process any information but what the activity offers. All the attention is concentrated on the relevant stimuli. To quote from Mihai Csikszentmihalyi in the book Flow. This is the path to maximum enjoyment in life. So here is a process to follow. The first step is to pursue a goal that is challenging enough. Start small and superficial. Fix your health, finances, and mindset. 1 foot into the unknown. Take the first step. The only thing that you have to do on your own, well, you have to do a lot more on your own, but the only thing that you can do on your own. I can't grab your foot and step it out there for you. You have to fucking do it yourself. Put 1 foot in the unknown so that you can feel the stress required to continue. This gives you a lesser purpose to actualize, right? Because people try to, as I said earlier, this is synonymous with what I just said about how people are trying to go deep and attack their core at first. They're trying to solve their life's purpose without breaking through the concentric circles inward from lesser purpose to greater purpose to life's purpose, when you can't even see your life's purpose. You have no fucking clue, right? So you have to start with the lesser purpose, which is just a superficial goal. Step 2 is to acquire the skill necessary to achieve the goal. This should be obvious, because it's silly to think that you can achieve self-generated goals without self-education. You need to immerse your conscious mind in the information that will program a new identity and give you the knowledge to attack your goals. Follow social media accounts that give you specific information related to your goals. People see this and they're like, well, I don't want to follow social media accounts. I don't think you guys understand how integrated social media is into our lives and how powerful it is, right? People see it as bad, like all the news or toxicity. It's like you can curate your experience, but it's woven into society at this point. It's necessary. It is a part of our lives, whether you like it or not. And after that, after you follow people that are giving away specific education related to the goal that you're trying to achieve, you purchase 1 to 3 books on the topic and you devour them. When you have a goal that is top of mind, you begin to perceive situations with intention. Intention equals what you are stretching towards. Information becomes more relevant and applicable to your life, and you end the mindless distraction and consumption cycle. So number 3 is to hunt and stack whys or reasons to cultivate a personal philosophy. If you struggle to act, it's because you don't have a compelling personal and intrinsic reason to act. The first step is difficult, but you must take it. Then, as you're experiencing life, keep an eye out for reasons you can collect. I used to hate going on walks. I didn't see the point. I walk like 20 to 25K steps a day now. I'm not kidding. Not kidding. This is monthly average steps, 18,500. Still pretty close to 20,000. That's monthly average. So I'm allowed that. And I'm showing you that because motherfuckers in the comments think I don't walk 20K steps a day. I take that shit personally. I walk 20K steps a day. And so the way I got into walking, because I hated them, right? Who wants to go and walk out in the Arizona heat? One day I decided to cut some weight, right? I like to lift weights. I was bulking, got a bit too heavy, and just didn't want to do cardio, right? Didn't like cardio. And then I read a book or noticed something online that was relevant to the goal that I was trying to perceive. And it's like, if you want to lose weight, just pick up a walking habit, right? And so I'm like, you're right. That's a lot better than cardio. There's reason number one. And then so I went on a walk, started just walking around my complex. And then eventually it's like, oh, okay, I can take calls on a walk. So I can do business on a walk. I can write content on a walk. Yes, you can literally look down at your phone and walk. People will look at you weird, but you can do it. And that's what I do all the time. Or I can listen to audiobooks. That's how I just run through audiobooks and like YouTube lectures, right? Like my friends are like, how do you watch all of these videos? And it's like, I have YouTube Premium. I put it in my ears and I walk. Another thing is that I generate ideas and for the content that I write on the walk, right? I'm just constantly putting ideas down in my phone because it's a creativity block. It's where I'm just blocked out. It's not productivity where I'm actually doing the work. It's creativity where I'm generating ideas, filling my mind. And it's a dedicated time to be creative. I don't have any other distractions. There's nothing to get distracted by. And then I stack the other reason of I just like taking a break from work. I love blocking out like 60 minutes, working, going on a walk, coming back and doing those in time blocks. When I'm bored, I walk. When I lack creativity, I walk. When I need to go to the store, I walk. I literally just got back from Whole Foods carrying my things. I walk 20 minutes to Whole Foods, walk back with my groceries. I walk to the coffee shop all the time. I just walk. And that last point literally influenced the place where I live, right? So you're seeing how your actions start to shape your future and what you do and the decisions you make, even for something as simple as just walking. And now I don't think I'll ever live in a non-walkable city. I know all of the trad red pill base dudes are all like, oh, I want to live off grid and get a farm and have my trad wife and all this stuff. And it's like, that's great. That actually does sound pretty nice. I don't blame you. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to drive 30 to 60 minutes to the grocery store or to actually like have contact with other human beings. It doesn't make sense to me. I want to walk. And so this does not only apply to walking, but to every single habit that I've incorporated in my lifestyle. If you don't know why you are doing something, if you don't have a reason, then why are you doing it, right? Why are you putting the food in your mouth? And I'm not saying this is bad. We're talking about this more in a week from now's video, but I'm not saying that like drinking alcohol or watching Netflix or playing video games is bad. I'm telling you, if you don't have a reason behind those things, right? It's fine. If you want to, if you're conscious of why you're going out to drink or play video games or do whatever, if it's to take a break, if it's to reset, if it's to gain more creativity for the week or just have a forced low in life, there's no problem with that. Right? The problem is when you don't notice the destruction that your habits are causing. And when you're conscious of that and you allow that bit of destruction into your life, that's not a bad thing. You're aware of it and you know that you're going to do the things that will reverse that and continue to make you progress. So my point here is that when you start developing reasons behind your actions, you start to cultivate a philosophy for not only those actions themselves, but then they culminate into a larger life philosophy that you have for yourself. And so step number 4, because we gotta tie this back to the creator economy, is that turn your valuable pursuits into contributions. So we live in a time, I say this because as I said earlier, social media is so intertwined with our lives and how we communicate and the opportunities available to you as an individual, right? Because most people limit themselves to college opportunities, local opportunities, other things like that until they get online and realize, oh shit, this is infinite. Social media in this case is a public forum where you can share your knowledge online and share products and services in exchange for other value, right? And when I say value, for most people, that's money until the money problem, the superficial money problem that is a goal for most people is solved in their lives. That's how you solve it, right? But then value can really be anything. I can exchange my interest or expertise for just something that I want, right? If I want to like go on a vacation, I can just be like, I have 1 million followers. I haven't done this yet. I'm kind of, it feels like weird to do. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I can like DM a retreat or a resort place and be like, hey, what's up? Like I'll promote you to my page, coming to stay and whatever. And they'll be like, oh yeah, I have a week for free. They actually do that for like influencers and stuff. And the thing with this is I'm pretty much telling you to start a business, as I always do, by solving your own problems and selling the solution that you pick up along the way. And your marketing is the intrinsic philosophy that you form with your reasons, right? I could 100% sell a walking program, right? 30 days of walks. And on the landing page is all of the reasons I just listed, because I guarantee that what I just said was somewhat persuasive, and some of you are going to start going on a walk because of that. And so that's what I'm saying here is someone first create a 30 days of walks digital product, or just like a book. But that's the most meaningful style of business model anyways, right? You're changing people's lives by changing your own. There isn't really anything else that matters at this point. Like, yeah, we can go and explore other planets, but people are doing that out of passion. Like Musk is doing that out of passion. It's not an absolute necessity for our species. We can evolve and we can transcend and we can self-actualize by just doing and solving the meaningful problems in our lives first. We need to raise the collective consciousness of that 90 to 95% of the masses so that we don't head off a cliff. We came full circle. That's the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you're interested in that business stuff, check out To Writer or Digital Economics. Links in the description. There's also free power planner, free 7 days to Genius Ideas Challenge. The book is coming soon. I looked down on my phone while doing this. He said, the guy that I'm working with said pre-sale may start in a month. So I'm stoked. I'm so stoked for that. Dude, it's been a long time coming. Okay, let's do this shit. See ya.